Hello everyone. Recently I posted some of my raw images online and I asked random strangers if they'd like to edit them. So as I've mentioned before, I take part in the 52 frame challenges each week. It's just a free online website where you can sign up, and each week there's a new brief and you upload your image. Last week the brief was a little bit different to usual because you had to take a shot and then get other people to edit your raw files. Just a quick interjection for any beginners watching. A raw file is a file format or a group of file formats that can be outputted from the camera. So there are different types of raw files such as CR2, NEF, and it's just the three letter extension after the file name, and different camera manufacturers will use different raw formats. But basically a raw format can just record so much more information compared to say a JPEG. Some people do prefer to shoot in JPEG. People who like to get all their exposure and white balance and stuff done in the camera and don't necessarily like editing later, they might use JPEG, or people who just need the image quickly, maybe journalists who need to just take the picture and get it uploaded somewhere really fast, or people who just want to save file space because a JPEG is a much smaller file size. So yeah, that's raw. We'll get back to the video. So, as I was saying, the challenge was to have somebody edit your raw files. Now, I don't have too many photographer friends, and those that I do don't really use raw editing software. So I headed over to Reddit and I posted in one of the subreddit forums there called Edit My Raw, just asking if people could help me out with the challenge basically. And I was amazed by the response. I got about 27 images back in the end, and there were some really, really good ones. So yeah, it was great. I'm going to show you them all now, but I'll highlight some in particular that I really liked, and I'll show you the one that I chose to submit to the 52 frames challenge. So let's have a look. So here are the two shots I posted. These are the unedited raw files as they came out of the camera. Like I said, nothing special, but I was pleased with the compositions, and I was interested to see what people would come up with. As you can see, some great images there, and such a wide range of styles, and people have just taken it in completely different directions. So yeah, it was really fun to look through those, and it was really difficult to choose just a few to highlight really, because they were all so good. But I have managed to pick a few out that I really liked. And the first one is this, by a user called Albin. And what I like about this one is just how dark and moody it looks, and it seems like they've really pulled the white balance down and made it look really cool and blue, and it's got this really kind of sci-fi feel to it. It's almost like, it reminds me of Aliens, you know, like that H.R. Geiger kind of, this really dark, atmospheric, sci-fi place. It's just cold, and I really like that about it. And probably put the contrast up and maybe bring the exposure down a bit, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a great mood, great atmosphere, and I really love that, so great work, Albin. The next one is by Insane Cucumber, who gets points just for the name alone. What I like about this one is just the colours in it. I don't know if there's some split toning going on in this, but I like how it's got the greens of the foliage, and then that's kind of juxtaposed against this red of the path. And then you've obviously got the brightness of the trees there, pulling your eyes to the trees as well. And it's just a really nice kind of balance between the three. You've got the kind of yellowy white of the tree, the red of the path, and then the green surrounding it. And it's almost got this kind of like vintage feel to it. There's like almost like a filter. I think the blacks have been pulled up slightly, so they're not black, they're soft. And yeah, it's just nice all around. It's a bit different to some of the other images. So it really stood out to me. So yeah, good edit. The next one that I pulled out was, well, this one. It's a Decker, I'm not sure. But yeah, wow, I wasn't expecting anything like this, but I think it's fantastic. Similar to the image by Albin, they seem to have made the overall image cooler, probably bringing the white balance down, making that green slightly more blue, and just giving it a more hostile feel in a way. It's a less inviting environment when it looks cooler like that. But then they've juxtaposed that with this like bright red triangle device, which is fantastic. I love it. It's quite sci-fi. It reminds me of Predator, where they're in the forest or jungle, and the predator's running around, and it's got that kind of like laser targeting system. So yeah, like I said, wasn't expecting anything like that, but I think it's brilliant. So definitely top marks for creativity there. Then we've got this one by They Are Nuts. What I really like about this one is just how soft and inviting it looks. It's just so warm, and the contrast has been pulled down, I think, a bit, and giving that really soft, inviting feel. And the colours, it's almost autumnal now. It's gone from this green to this yellow and orange look to it, which, yeah, if you looked at that and you didn't know, you'd definitely be forgiven for thinking that's autumn. So a bit of a different direction to a lot of the other images, and I really like that. So yeah, another great image. And then this is the one I finally chose. So this is by a user called Nature's Aperture, and in one sense it's quite a powerful, bold image. It's got a lot of contrast and quite saturated colours, but then at the same time it's subtle in the sense that it doesn't change the colours too much, or the white balance hasn't been altered too much, so it feels fairly natural still, and I quite like that. It's more in line with the type of edit I would have made, so that probably made me a little bit biased towards it, but yeah, that definitely drew me to it. And I like how it's got this kind of like gradient of like dark to light from the bottom left corner up to the top right corner. I think the image had that anyway to an extent, but it seems to have been emphasised in this image. And that really just pulls your eye through the image. You start down at that bottom left-hand corner and follow the tree up, and your eye's just drawn to the brightest area of the image in the top right, and that just pulls your eye through along the tree. So that's really great. And yeah, overall, I just thought it was a really great image, a really great edit. So well done, Nature's Aperture, and well done, everybody. I'm really grateful for all your help. It was a great little project, fun to do, and I really learnt a lot. So thank you very much. So there we go, some brilliant images. It was just such a fun thing to do, really interesting, and I was really surprised at the direction some of the images went. I went out that morning and just took some snaps really. The lighting wasn't great. I was pleased with the composition of the images, but I didn't think they were anything particularly spectacular. And it's just really interesting to see what people have done with that when they've edited them. Some people have taken it in a really dark and moody direction, and other people have gone like a really warm and soft direction. And then there's just been some really creative responses as well. So I think it just goes to show that there's more than one stage to creating an image. There's a quote that you make an image 3 times. So once in your mind when you're planning the image, the second time when you actually take the image in the camera, and the third time when you process it afterwards. And that's really true. And some people think it's cheating, to go out to take your image and then edit it all afterwards and tweak it afterwards. But it's just an extension of what people have been doing for years, really. Even going back to like film photography. In the darkroom, people would be, dodging and burning with their hands, letting more or less light onto the film and creating a post-processing technique that way. So yeah, it's definitely a great thing to do, to be using editing software in my opinion, and definitely to be using raw files because you've got so much more control with them. So I recommend that, and I recommend going out and asking other people to edit your images because you can learn a lot from it. So just finally, before I go, I've got one of my own images. I didn't use one of the images that I submitted because I thought this is just for other people, let them edit my image. But I've chosen an image that was taken on the same day, a slightly different image of the big tree, with all the branches coming out. So it's just a slightly different shot from almost the same angle, but slightly different. And yeah, this is just my edit and my take on it. So I hope you found that useful. If you liked it, please give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please consider subscribing. At the weekend on Sunday, I'll be going and doing some seascapes, so tune in for that video, that'll be great. Oh, and just to say, all the images that I've shown today from the different users, they're going to be on my blog, so go check that out at robertbishop.uk/blog. And yeah, as ever, thank you for watching, and bye for now.